Have you ever just stopped and wondered, is there, like, a script for our lives? A secret story that science can tell about our journey from the moment we're born to our final years? Well, today, we're going to pull back the curtain on that very story. I mean, just think about your own life for a second. From those first wobbly steps across the living room floor, to the chaos of school, the drama of relationships, all the way to the wisdom you gain with age. Is all of that just random? Or is there some kind of hidden map we're all following? Well, what's so cool is that science is now suggesting, yeah, there is a blueprint. Now, it's not some rigid set of rules that locks in your destiny. It's more like a framework, a guide to the major chapters of a human life. So let's take a walk through this incredible blueprint together. So, any epic journey needs a good map, right? And it turns out for the journey of life, we basically get two of them. There's a map for our mind, our psychological journey, and a map for our body. Let's start with the one for our mind. A brilliant psychologist named Erik Erikson gave us this amazing framework. He saw our life as a series of 8 stages, and in each stage, there's a central challenge we have to figure out. It all starts the second we're born. Can I trust this big, crazy world, or is it a scary place? Then you're a toddler, and suddenly it's all about, I can do it myself. That's the battle for autonomy. Then comes the massive teenage question. Who am I, really? Each stage builds on the last, and how we solve these puzzles really defines the person we become. And let me tell you, those first few chapters, they are absolutely everything. This is where we are literally mixing the concrete and pouring the foundation for our entire social and emotional life. In these early years, we're learning so much more than just how to walk and talk. We're learning how to be human. We get that first sense of me, realizing that I'm a separate person. We develop empathy, which is basically the superpower of understanding what someone else is feeling. And we start learning to handle that wild storm of emotions inside us. These aren't just little kid things. These are the core tools we'll use in every relationship for the rest of our lives. Okay, so while our minds are busy figuring out that whole psychological map, our bodies are on their own parallel journey. And this journey, well, you can think of it as a constant, lifelong tug of war that determines our physical health. And believe it or not, scientists actually have a way to keep score in this internal battle. It's called the Frailty Index. The easiest way to think about it is just as a health scorecard. It adds up all the health issues we might have as we get older. A low score means you're doing great. A higher score means you're getting a bit more frail. So, who are the two teams in this big tug of war? Well, on one side of the rope, you have robustness. Think of this as your body's armor, its shield, its ability to just take a hit from stress or illness. On the other side of the rope is resilience. This is your body's 24/7 repair crew, the team that rushes in to fix things after the damage has been done. Every single day, your shield and your repair crew are in this epic battle. When we're young, our shield is super strong and our repair crew is incredibly fast. But as the years tick by, that balance of power starts to shift. And that shift, well, that's the real story of how we age. But here's where it gets really interesting. This shift isn't just some slow, predictable decline. Nope. Cutting-edge research is showing that there's a dramatic turning point, a specific time in our lives where the fundamental rules of this health game completely change. Okay, I know this chart looks a little intense, but stick with me, it's actually pretty cool. Think of it like a weather map for your health. All those blue arrows, that's like a powerful wind at your back, always pushing you back toward being healthy when you get sick. The red arrows, that's the headwind, pulling you towards frailty. Now, just watch what happens as you go from left to right as we get older. See how it's almost all blue in the early years? But then, the red starts to creep in and get stronger. The entire weather pattern of our health changes. So, the million-dollar question is, when? When does this huge shift happen? Well, after crunching data from tens of thousands of people, researchers were able to pinpoint a critical age where everything changes. And that age is 75. For the average person, age 75 marks this crucial tipping point. And let's be super clear. This doesn't mean you hit 75 and suddenly fall off a cliff. It's not like that. It's a permanent shift in who has the upper hand in that internal tug of war. And here's why it's a tipping point. It creates a feedback loop. Look, it starts simple. Our shield and our repair crew just naturally get a little weaker over time. This means damage can happen a bit faster than our crew can fix it. But that imbalance then makes our shield and our crew even weaker, which of course lets the damage pile up even faster. You see the cycle? It starts to feed on itself and speed up. Think of it like this. Before the tipping point, your body's factory default setting is healthy. You get sick, you fight it, you bounce right back. The system is self-correcting. But after this tipping point, that powerful bounce-back ability weakens. The body's new natural tendency isn't to bounce back anymore. Instead, it's to start a slow, steady drift, where it's easier to collect health problems than it is to solve them. So what on earth are we supposed to do with this information? I mean, does that sound kind of depressing? It's really not. In fact, understanding this map, this blueprint, is incredibly empowering. It helps us navigate our own journey with a real sense of purpose. The researchers themselves basically tell us what to do next. They say that after this tipping point, healthy aging is less about relying on your internal repair crew and more about just avoiding the damage in the first place. If your shield is weaker, you have to be smarter about dodging the hits. Simple stuff like preventing falls or keeping up with vaccines suddenly becomes way more critical. And that right there is the most important thing to remember. Science isn't giving us a deadline. It's handing us a new rule book. It's telling us that the strategies that kept you healthy in your 40s and 50s just have to evolve for the game you're playing in your 80s. The tug of war keeps going. We just have to learn to play smarter. So in the end, this whole scientific story isn't about destiny. It's a map. It shows us the terrain up ahead, the mountains, the valleys, the tricky spots. The real question it leaves us with is this. Now that you know what the road ahead looks like, how are you going to choose to travel?